Moving abroad could change your whole entire life, but there are some things that you just may not like about your new country. Let's talk about it in this video. We'll talk about the move abroad adventure and what you can expect when you move abroad. But first, hey girl, hey, my name is Tanisha Mercer. I help Black women travel, solo travel, and move abroad. If that sounds like you, hit the subscribe button. Also, don't forget to share, like, and comment on this video. So let's talk about it. This video is inspired by the Black Utopia YouTube channel and also a conversation that was on, I believe it was on Exodus Summit, Stephanie Perry's Facebook group. I will link both of those in the description of this video. So let's talk about it though. Look, you've moved abroad. You're planning on moving abroad. I really think you have to temper your expectations a little bit. Now, why do I say that? I've been in lovely Paris, France. I'm joining you from the courtyard, my courtyard here in Paris. I've been here a year and a half. I really feel like the first year, you love everything. You love everything because it's different than what you left. And this is one of the reasons why you really have to give, when you move abroad, you really have to give it a couple of years, because that first year, baby, you loving every single thing for the most part. You're loving everything and everything is new to you. The second year, now baby, that is when the reality kicks in and you start to kind of form some, okay, I like this, I don't like this, about the new country where you are. I think it helps set expectations though. If you are planning on moving abroad and if you go into it knowing that there are going to be some things that you like, your new country is not a utopia. You are probably not going to like every single thing. Think about it. Even when you were home, if home is the US for you, you did not like everything in the US. If home is the UK for you, you did not like everything in the UK. So it's going to be the same thing. I always like to be super realistic on this channel, and I don't like to paint this portrait of, yes, I am in Paris. Yes, there are, of course, baguettes, croissants, champagne, lovely French wine, all of those good things. But there are some other things too. Paris is not like where I moved from, right? We've had some horrible weather. This spring has been, now it's summer, right? But the spring has been horribly cold. This is the first 80-degree day of 2024. Literally a couple days ago, I was still wearing a leather moto jacket and a wool scarf at times. So that just lets you know, you really have to just think about where it is that you're going to, setting those realistic expectations, going into it knowing that you may not like everything about your new country. The weather definitely plays a big part of it. For me, being here, I am enjoying today, but even Parisians were saying, oh my goodness, this spring has been totally miserable. I mean, when I tell y'all, it has rained, it has been cold, it has been a lack of sunshine, and for even native Parisians were complaining about the weather. Sometimes people feel like when you move abroad that you should like everything about your new spot. Like, why don't you like everything? That is impossible. You are setting yourself up for failure if you think that going to your new country, whether that is, let's say, Ghana, whether that is Mexico, whether that is Australia, wherever your new place is, right? If you think that you are going to like everything about it, you simply won't. It is going to be different than where you left. So let's talk about a few reasons, a few things that you just might not like. We already talked about the weather. You may not like your housing situation. Why? Because, and I'm always very careful and cautious when I'm talking to clients about moving abroad, because it may very well be that you may be trying to find a house that's like the house you left. And I'm very careful on this. I was talking with someone last night and they were asking me how about my life here. Do I like France? I love France, right? I love my life here. My life is different. My life is more carefree. It is a better life. I am safer here. But I'm not going to lie, there are some things that I don't like. And I was telling this person that my entire house, I'm in a 20-meter squared studio loft apartment. I left. I've been in many homes where my garage was bigger than my whole entire house. Okay, the house that I have now. Okay, my garage. I was telling someone just today that my courtyard, the courtyard where I'm filming this video from, my backyards were bigger than my entire courtyard. I've had a few backyards that were huge, okay? My entire patio backyard, I mean, it was the biggest. I was on a corner lot at one point, and I was on a corner lot at one point, and it was the biggest lot on the block. And I'm telling you, my entire patio, my entire backyard fenced in was bigger than the courtyard that I have now in Paris. And I'm sharing this with everyone here. It is not just mine. But it's about living differently. And I think about it, like back then when I had all that, I've had several homes. I've had a home with a 500 square foot kitchen. My first home, our first home, 500 square foot kitchen, right? That is like my entire house here is 210 square feet. So my kitchen was twice as big as my entire home here. So it really puts things into perspective. But guess what, y'all? When I had those things, I was young and busy and working and we were raising our children. You guys know that I'm widowed. And so we were raising our children. I didn't have time to appreciate a lot of it. I was working so hard that I didn't appreciate what I had. I had that beautiful backyard, never hosted a backyard. Oh, I feel like something's crawling on me. I never had a backyard party. Didn't really appreciate it like I should have, right? So it just goes to show you. This morning I drank my coffee on this patio. I just enjoyed the morning, the sunshine, all of that, and it puts life into different perspective and to different meanings. So go into your move abroad adventure knowing that things are different. This is not the U.S. Your home is not going to be like the U.S. If you are looking for your U.S. home abroad, you may as well stay in the U.S. And I say that with the utmost respectfully, right? When you're moving abroad, it's going to be very difficult to find a house like the U.S. You are not in the U.S. U.S. homes are unique. There is a reason why they call, in Europe, they call it American kitchens, right? American appliances, because it is uniquely American, the space that we have. Now, there are some countries where they do have a lot of space. It just depends on where you are. Here in the Parisian region, I already know for me to be in Paris and to get a huge home, a huge apartment is going to cost so much money. Now, if I want a bigger spot, I could move outside of Paris in the suburbs, or I could move like perhaps to Lyon or other regions of France. There are pluses and minuses that come with all of that. But it's important to me when I'm talking to clients that you don't replicate what you had in the U.S. I talked to one person and they were like, oh my goodness, I have to have a bigger spot. Like this is just way too small, and my condo in the U.S. is this big or whatever. I get the references. I get the comparisons. I mean, I'm even making them now. But you have got to be open to living your life differently. Again, if you wanted to stay in the U.S., if you wanted to have a home in the U.S. abroad, I suggest you just stay in the U.S. Living abroad is an entirely different experience. And yes, it does depend on where you go, what country you go to. Now, there are some places Mexico, for example, you can find things that are very comparable in terms of space. To the US, you can get some pretty big properties, right? 1, 2, and 3 bedrooms. The pricing is usually awesome. You usually get a lot of space. But again, if I'm having those same things, if I'm thinking the same thing, the way the what I left in the US, and if I wanted to replicate that here, I'm probably going to spend about $5,000 to $7,000. I would say a good 3,000 to 5,000, depending upon where I'm living, to replicate that. And 3,000 is probably on the lower end. 3,000 is probably if I'm in the suburbs, and yeah, that would get me a house, perhaps if I bought a property. So it's going to cost me a whole lot more money. So your housing is going to be different. You need to definitely, temper your expectations, realizing that you are not in the U.S., right? You are not in the U.S. Also, the third thing is realizing that customs and traditions of where you are in your new country are going to be very different. Now, are there times that I miss good old fashioned U.S. customer service? Absolutely. The French here do not care. They will tell you no in a minute. It's almost like their job is not to help you. It is a cultural difference, a huge cultural difference. And I've spoken about this before in terms of they love to tell you no. It is definitely very different than the U.S., where we know that we are. I'm not saying the customer is always right, but we're oftentimes taught that the customer is right. And if the customer isn't right, the expectation is that you are going to try to help them. That is the expectation. So it is very, very, very different. And so it's realizing that I'm in a different place. I am a guest here. I am trying to get my 5-year residency. True enough, I apply for my 3rd year visa at the end of August. But I never forget that I'm a guest here and that cultural practices are different. Again, talking to this person last night, they mentioned that this person mentioned they lived in America. I went to a compa event. So danced with this gentleman, and he was like, yeah, I've lived in Vegas before, and man, I've been in the U.S. and I just find that people in the U.S. smile more, they talk more, and you all are not like Parisians. And I told him, I said, I can definitely relate to a lot of that. I go around smiling and people do not smile back. Some people do, but you will have your whole entire feelings hurt if you are waiting for people to smile here in Paris. And I don't know if it's the weather. I don't know. I think it's just more so cultural. They oftentimes look at us as Americans who smile too much and we do too much and we're just extra, right? And as Americans, we will pick up a conversation with anybody, strangers. That is not a thing in France. It really is. The people who I have conversations with tend to be people who are not native Parisians, to be honest with you. So, random conversations don't tend to happen like that here. And again, you already know I have the language barrier. So things are just very, very different. And it's coming in, realizing that you are a guest. It is a new culture for you. They do things differently. They do not do things like the U.S. And France is one of those places to where they are very much about French culture, and they are not changing for you. You are the one who must adapt to them. So I am always very aware and very cognizant of that fact. Look, I'm a guest here. They do things differently. Customs are different. Even, becoming friends with someone is very different. They have to know you for a long time, but once you are a friend, you are a friend. But it's getting to that point. I spoke with someone a while ago, and they mentioned they've been here for like 20 years, and they have 3 French friends, like maybe 2 or 3 French friends. That lets you know how difficult it can be. So I'm very big on building community. The solution is going to be, if you are moving abroad, having a community of expats from your home country. I have people here who I meet with, Black expats, Black Americans here in Paris. I miss our vibe. Like, there's nothing like the vibe of Black people. There's nothing like it. And so I'm able to, have outings with my friends here, Black Americans. We talk, we kiki, we laugh, we joke. They get the humor, they get the slang. I can be myself, right? So they get me and I get them in return. So it's about building community. You're going to have to build a community in the new place you're at. Maybe it is about creating more friends on social media and also not forgoing the ties in your home country. There are some people, when they move abroad, they just forget everybody. I talk to my friends regularly because I'm like, first of all, y'all not going to forget about me. Second of all, I'm only 6 hours ahead of y'all in terms of time. So I make sure that I talk to friends because I want to keep that connection, right? Even though I'm not living in the same country, you don't want to move abroad and forget about the friends in your home country, your friends, your family. You have to take a concerted effort to talk to them, right? I know that my kids may call me late at night. I may be tired or whatever. My friends may call late at night, but I make a concerted effort to keep in touch, That's going to be really important. That sense of community. Also, one of the things I'm doing, you guys already know, I'm actually studying now. I'm studying my language every day. I am working on building my language proficiency. That will help me a lot, okay, in building community with Parisians and French people here. So don't underestimate the amount of work that you may have to do in your new country to build that sense of community. It's okay, it's possible. I encourage you to do it, right? But just know that going forward, you are not in your home country, right? It's not America. Things are going to be different culturally. You can make it. You're not going to like everything about your new country. It's fine. It is to be expected. If you told me you liked everything about the place you moved abroad to, I would be a little bit just concerned because, again, you're in a new spot. Now, there are some people who can adapt to change very easily, and there are some that don't adapt to change. But it is important to also realize that, again, you're not in Kansas, okay? Dorothy not in Kansas no more. So you are going to, as a person who moves abroad, it is going to be an adjustment. Now I talk about that adjustment process on my consulting calls. Book a move abroad call with me. I will walk you through your plan, what you can expect if you are looking at moving or traveling abroad, especially moving abroad. We talk about the cultural differences, the cultural expectations. We talk about transitioning to your new country because, baby, it is indeed a process. So check out the link in the description of this video. I will link to my Move Abroad call. You can schedule a call, 1 hour with me. It is a paid call. We will talk about your Move Abroad plans, help you form your Move Abroad plans if you don't already have one. And if you do have one, we'll go over it, making sure you've thought of all the things you need to think of as you make your transition. Don't let nobody tell you it's not a transition because, baby, it definitely is. So check out that link in the caption. And I think that's pretty much it. You guys have a great day. I'm going to enjoy the rest of my beautiful day. I don't know, it might rain tomorrow, I might do whatever tomorrow, but I am going to enjoy today. I am off to the opera. I've got an opera ticket I'm going to enjoy today, this afternoon, and probably go dancing. So I will talk to you guys later. Don't forget, if you've reached the end of this video and you are not a subscriber, hit subscribe. It is one of the best ways to help me as a Black woman YouTube creator. Also, don't forget to share, like, and comment on this video. That also helps me as well. All right, enjoy your son in the country that you're moving to. So let's take, for example, if you move to Mexico, you're going to have to make sure that all your water is sterilized properly, or you might get sick, right? If you move to countries like, let's say, Greece, or some places where they don't flush the toilet paper in the toilet, right? Things are very different. You could be moving to, let's say, Ghana or where or South Africa, where things are very different. You may have some load sharing issues. Perhaps power is cut off sometimes during the day. These are all transitions that you're going to have to make. And again, things are done Oh my goodness, like a bug is on me. Things are done differently where you may be. And it's okay if things are done differently. It is about being transparent. It is about knowing this and doing your research, which is, again, a really good reason why you need to book a Move Abroad consulting call with me. Link is in the caption. And, you need to be prepared for some of the changes and how things are very different. Here in France, things are so different as it relates to doing business, setting up a bank account, for example. Opening an account for a mobile phone, opening an account with your energy supplier. Things are done differently than the US. Even buying things are different. Warranties are different. So it is about knowing some of those things going in. You're going to a very different place. You could be going to some places like, let's say, Dominican Republic, things like building a new property, a new home, and places like Costa Rica, Dominican Republic, let's say, Ghana, Senegal, or wherever you may move within the continent of Africa. Things are done differently. You cannot place, a lot of times we tend to place U.S. expectations, which is normal, but you'll place the expectations of your home country onto your new one. And baby, these folks will tell you, it does not work like that. This is another reason why it is important to build your sense of community, to do your research, build your community wherever it is that you are, because you're going to need to know what those differences are. We can't, as Americans, or whatever country you're coming from, go to these countries and just think that things are going to work like they did in America. They aren't. And it is acknowledging that it may be frustrating. You may be frustrated. It's okay to be frustrated. It's okay to realize that things are different. Things move at a different pace. You can go to some of these places, many places in the world. Nowhere moves as fast as America, okay? You can move to these places and you are going to hurry up and wait. So it's realizing that you're in a different place, different space, right? Different place, different space, and rolling with the punches. It is about having a whole lot of patience, right? Just realizing that infrastructure is not set up the same. And I don't want to downplay it, because even here in France, home renovation and home construction, oh my goodness, bugs are just flying all over me. Home renovation and home construction is very unlike the US, okay? It is much slower. It is so different. It is different in terms of the tradespeople that you're hiring. Man, it is different. So it helps you. I advise you to build a sense of community. Contact people, whether that's online, whether that's in person, whether that's Facebook groups. You need to build a sense of community to help you, guide you through some things, because renovations, repairs, all of that stuff in these other places, whether it's France, whether it's South Africa, Ghana, whatever, it is different. Mexico, it is different. The home buying process is different. When you're in buying, let's say you are leasing a property in Africa, you pay for the most part in many cities in many countries in Africa, you are going to pay a year of rent up front. That is very different, okay? Very, very different. Let's take a look at France. Here in France, they cannot deny you having a dog or a pet, and they cannot charge you any extra. So there are little things and little, idiosyncrasies and things that you just have to know, and you'll learn going forward. But you are definitely going to be learning. Moving abroad is a learning experience. I say it every day. I learn something every day, whether it's talking to people, whether it's not. I am learning something new every day about French culture, about how and why things are done the way they are. So it is a learning experience. No matter what age you are, get ready to learn and get ready to unlearn. More importantly, because remember, you are not in the U.S. So get ready to learn and unlearn. And it is just, I definitely understanding that you may have your days. You may have your days where you may be homesick. You may miss the U.S. You may miss the way things are done. I'm not going to lie to you. I miss certain things. I miss Charmin tissue. I miss Dawn dishwashing liquid. I miss black people from the U.S. I miss, what else do I miss? There are a number of things I miss, okay? And it probably would be a long video if I were to explain all of what I miss. But I have to realize I'm in a different space. I'm in a different country. I chose this particular lifestyle. And when you get to a space to where you just are like homesick, because I'm getting ready to fly back home, okay, for a quick visit. When you are like, I need to get out of here for a little bit, do it. Because it helps you to go back home, hug on your loved ones, right? And then come back to where you are. It makes you appreciate where you are more, even though your new space may be home. I'm not saying it's not, but it helps you to go out to these different places and to spend a little bit of time back home, because that's what I'm going to be doing. Spending like a week or two back home with my children, right? Going to see my mom and my family, my brothers and sisters, and just spending some time with them. So it's been a minute since I've been home. So, realizing that again, these feelings are normal. These feelings are normal. Again, I think that a lot of times we tell expats or folks who are moving abroad that you just must like everything. And no, life does not work like that.